So YouTube, is your boy Poker Swag CEO coming at you with a another video. This one I promised when I did my first video on DraftKings. So this is the results of my $1.5 million tournament on DraftKings this past Sunday for week 4 of the NFL. It's a $3 buy-in, pretty good. Top prize $100,000. The lineup that I went with, I was pretty confident in that going into the tournament. Obviously, the results did not really pan out in my favor. I ended up with about 119 points with Andy Dalton, Dunbar, Williams, Randall Cobb, Fitzgerald, AJ Green, Reed, Demaryius Thomas, and the Rams defense. The top winner of this tournament, congratulations to Free of the Puppies, which was pretty much batting 1,000 with this tournament. Almost 20 points each player, give or take about three of the players, but ended up with 206 points. So congrats to him on getting that big win. He's $100,000 richer. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get my lineup together for week 5 for the same $1.5 million tournament. So let's go ahead and get this together here. Let's see, I'm gonna go to the lobby. So far the experience, I had multiple buy-ins going. Obviously, that was actually the best I ended up doing at the tournament. It just really, a lot of the players I picked just really did not perform like they did in previous weeks. So obviously the season is still young. Players are still kind of getting their feet wet. People are just getting swapped around. Quarterbacks going down, starters going down. So a lot of studs not playing or haven't played at least for the first 4 weeks of the season. So let's see. So let's go ahead and find this tournament here, which is right here, the 1.5. They're still doing the same cap at 575,000 entries, paying off at least 122,290. So basically, you just double your buy-in if you come in that place. But all right, so let's go ahead and draft a team. Let's see. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting week. You got the New England Patriots back from their bye week. They've been killing it. Tom Brady ranked number 2 quarterback, just behind Aaron Rodgers. Even though fantasy points per game got the edge to Tom Brady, but nevertheless, Rodgers still just as shy, more expensive than Tom Brady. So the pick I'm gonna go with, and I'm gonna kind of just dive right in here. Let's see. I'm gonna start with my running backs. That seems to be an issue for me right now, and I'm gonna go with some of the obvious choices, which would be, let's see, I'm gonna go heavy with the running backs on this particular tournament here. So we're gonna do Freeman just for the sake of putting him in there. If he has any kind of a week that he's been having, then we're being pretty good shape. Also, I'll go with Forte. They're going to go up against Kansas City this week. I don't think the Chicago Bears will win, but I'm pretty sure he's going to have a pretty good ground game go moving forward. Let's see. Let's jump over to some wide receivers. Now, I like to stack my wide receivers and quarterbacks, but let's see. I know I'm going to need some money later on just to kind of get a pretty decent quarterback. But let's see. I know based off some of the other picks I have going in here, I was able to kind of put together a pretty good lineup and not really have to sacrifice too much on a quarterback. So I'm going to kind of do a little something similar to that. Let's go ahead and sort these by points, which I tend to do pretty often. Let's see. So we got Jeremy. He did pretty damn good last week. They're going to go up against Chicago, which I think that will play in the favor of Kansas City. Let's see. Keenan Allen. He's usually does pretty good. Apparently, he's pretty consistent scoring at least the last 2 weeks. But he's put up quite a bit of points, especially when Phillip Rivers is just slinging the ball. So I'm going to go ahead and put him in here as well. So I got going pretty heavy so far. I mean, obviously I'm not getting the top players, but I'm just kind of getting some quality picks in here. Let's see who else. I did go with James Jones last week. He didn't do as well as I thought he would have done. Only with about 14.8 points. Of course, he has been known to get above 20 points, which is what we're going to really need. They do go against St. Louis, which I think would work in their favor. I liked St. Louis defense. I mean, they do go after the quarterback quite a bit. Obviously, they did that last week against Carson Palmer, pulling out the win, giving Arizona their first loss. So, but I don't think that's going to be the case going up against Green Bay. I mean, I think Green Bay's line is just too good to allow Rodgers to get sacked. And frankly, Rodgers, he's smart enough player. He's good enough of a player to try to avoid that. He'll rather throw it away than to take the sack. So I'm gonna put in. I'll leave in James Jones just for that reason. I do think he can probably get me those 20 plus points that I need to kind of be competitive. Tight end. A couple of tight ends did definitely stand out to me last week that aren't even in the in the top selection. Let's see. Bennett, he had a pretty good game last week. Of course, again, we're talking Chicago, Kansas City game here. Last week, he had a phenomenal game against Oakland, pulling off 25 points. The best he's done all season, but he definitely has that potential. And against Kansas City, he can probably do it again. I will compare him to Clay, which gets a little bit cheaper as far as the cost of the players, and he also did at least over 20 points last week. He ripped off over a 100-yard game against the Giants, even though Buffalo did take a pretty good loss on that one. They do go against Tennessee this week against Mariota. That one is going to be a bit of a slugfest. I mean, Mariota, he's slinging the ball. Tyrod Taylor tries to sling the ball. He's had a okay first 4 weeks. But just because of the price here, I'll go with the lesser of the two. So I'll pick up. I'll put Clay on this one. Got 13,700 left in my salary cap. Still haven't invested in a quarterback yet. Let's see. Let's just keep it going over to flex players. So let's see. I got three receivers, 2 running backs. Let's see who's kind of left in the running back game. Let's see. And again, I'll keep it sorted by fantasy points per game. And let's see, of course, Le'Veon Bell rounds out the top spot, but 8,500, that's not going to happen. I won't have enough to even fill the rest of my roster. So that price point is no good for me. Jamal Charles, he's still up there, 7,800. That's not going to help me at all. Let's see. So I'm going to try to get a little bit more bang for my buck here. Let's see. Dion Lewis, he tends to be pretty good. However, he's no longer starting. Blunt is. So let's see what Blunt's going for. Let's see. Lewis, he's at 48. Let's see if we can find Blunt on this list. Let's see. There's Blunt. He's at 45, which is, wow, that's, oh, we got to grab that. That's a definite. Yeah, Blunt's been, just kind of off that suspension. Just walked on the field, 28 points against Jacksonville, mind you. But I mean, he can get hot pretty quick. So they're going against Dallas. I'll take that. I mean, Dallas is decimated with offensive injuries, but we'll see how that plays out. I feel good about almost any New England staff I put on my list. I mean, So we got just defense left and a quarterback slot left. So got plenty of space to work with here. Obviously, the cheapest defense is going to range about 2,200 or so. So I got still plenty of space. Actually, you know what? For argument's sake, let's just go ahead and put that on here just so I can see. Well, definitely won't be. Let's see. We got the Saints. Saints listed as 2,200 for the defense. They're going against Philly. That can be hit or miss. Saints coming off a pretty emotional win against Dallas last week in overtime. So, I mean, they have the ability to win games, especially with Drew Brees back. So we'd throw that in there for the defense. So I got 7,000 even to give me a pretty good quarterback, which I don't think is going to be hard to do. In our 7,000 range. So let's see what we have based off of average points per game, fantasy points per game. Andy Dalton, inexpensive pick. However, they are going against Seattle, which Seattle's defense, I mean, they got Chancellor back, so that's going to be pretty tough. You got AJ Green, Marvin, I believe his name. Got a couple looks, but I don't know how I really feel about that, especially with Seattle. You got Sherman on one side, Chancellor out there. I don't know. Carlson Palmer, they're going to Detroit. Detroit didn't really do a whole lot against Seattle Thursday Night Football. So that may be pretty good. Carson Palmer, obviously Detroit did not even score a offensive touchdown that game. So Carson Palmer is looking pretty good right now. He's up there in the top 4 in fantasy points per game. Mariota behind that. But Tyrod Taylor, I was talking about him just a minute ago. Let's see, he did not have a good game last week against New York, but he's had a couple consecutive weeks of averaging 20 plus. and they are going against Tennessee. That could be a pretty good pick. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to get back those touchdowns. I mean, he got his tight end involved. I'm pretty sure they're going to come back with a vengeance. So I would take that pick as well. So I don't know. It would be a pretty good toss-up between Tyrod and Carson with the budget that I have. I'm pretty sure there are some other quality quarterbacks still on this list for that amount of money. Let's see. We got the Mannings, both Peyton and Eli. Now, this is interesting. Peyton Manning is going against Oakland, which you would think that would be pretty favorable. You know, Peyton Manning, like, really, he's going to lose to Oakland? He may have the game of his season with going against that team. So, you know what? Let's just do it. I mean, it rounds it out. We used the entire salary cap to get a pretty damn good quarterback with Peyton Manning. Let's see what his stats are coming up with. Oof. Yeah, that's not looking too good. Minnesota, he did not do Nathan. But he averages 20 plus a game. And again, this is Oakland. So I'm gonna take that pick. I will take that pick. Obviously, if I had to make any change, it would be either Peyton, Tyrod, or Carson. I do think they both have pretty good matches coming up later. Carson Palmer probably being the most favorable going against Detroit, and like I said, their offense is pretty bad. Their defense did do okay against Seattle, but Seattle is not really tossing it up like most of these other teams. So that one right there, I'm gonna scratch my head on that one. Of course, if I come back with any changes, I will let you guys know. At the moment, I will go ahead. Man, that just Oakland. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and submit this pick right here. So there it is, $3 buy-in for that. So I am now again in the running for another $1.5 million tournament here on DraftKings. Just a $3 buy-in, pretty reasonable, I think. So that's my pick coming up here. Of course, if you like the video, if you like my picks, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. I will definitely come back with the results of Week 5 Sunday football. Hopefully, I get in the money. I do have quite a few tournaments, quite a few entries going. So if any of them gets a piece of that pie,